it just goes back to growing up. My family, I was going to say my mom, but not just my mom, my family, they're just everything was like very critical, and it was just a lot of negativity. And so it was normal to me. Um,
Right.
Activity, and it was what I know, it's what I was comfortable with. I didn't have a lot of affection growing up. My mom worked two jobs and she was never around, and she had a rough upbringing. Her mom had a rough upbringing, so it's a circle of just toxic, um, circle of life. And so
It's it seemed normal.
it was normal, and so he was what I knew. He, like, I was sarcastic, I was mean. He met my sarcasm, and I feel like I have a very strong attitude, or personality.
Keep it together for the most part. An effective woman, a high value woman. She keeps her shit together. She does not tear men down. She uplifts, if anything. Like, that's what, to me, a high value woman, and one of the powers of a woman is her ability to uplift everything around her.
Roll me Mac.
Who do you love to listen to talk? I love to listen to a few people talk, actually. Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale is probably one of my favorite voices to hear and mentors, as far as like seeing things on the positive side versus that of the negative, and manifesting success into your life. Earl Nightingale is one of those. He has one called, it's entitled The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. I recommend everyone listen to it at least once a week to shift your mindset as far as moving forward in a positive way. Another voice I love to hear is Brene Brown. Brene Brown, she gets it. She gets it. I've said it more than enough times on here. That is probably one of the most anticipated interviews or just meetings I would like to do, is to meet Brene Brown, to personally thank her for shifting my mindset. So I would say Brene Brown, Earl Nightingale, J.E.T., of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I were a gay man, he'd be the one I'd be after. You know what I mean? He gets it. He understands it, man. Like, a lot of times when I felt like I was done. I was done with life, man. His teachings, his wisdom from being, a monk, and then, just teaching to detach yourself from yourself. It saved me. It saved me in so many ways. So Jay Shetty, Earl Nightingale, Brene Brown, Pac for that matter. I definitely enjoy hearing Pac talk. For such a young mind, I mean, to think what I was doing at 25 years old, you know what I'm saying? And he was doing all this stuff prior to 25 years old, so like the mindset and the wisdom that his mother instilled in him to learn, to know things the way that they did in regards to life itself and what it meant to be militant and speaking up for black issues, and just like, and just being a man itself. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't perfect by any means, but a lot of the stuff, a lot of his teachings, I love to listen to. I just love to listen to him talk. You know what I'm saying? Like in interviews and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, love the music, got a voice for rap and all that. But as far as like the man himself, Farrakhan. Yeah, Louis Farrakhan is another person that I love. Like, I do not want to turn away when I hear him talk. I know he's going to move mountains. He's definitely an inspiration for me as far as like talking goes. Like, when you speak, you don't just say bullshit. You say something that's going to either, you know what I'm saying, it's going to move people, uplift people. Is what I gather from Louis Farrakhan. Another person I love to hear talk, Charlemagne. Charlemagne God, because truth be told, like, he'll say some wild shit that'd be funny, but a lot of times they'll have a lot of different perspectives on that. Like the Brilliant Idiots podcast, I recommend everybody check out with Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne God. And I miss when Wax used to be up there. Wax was funny. Wax used to always say some off the wall shit, and they always be fucking with Taylor on there, but Taylor be asking for it. Taylor and her insecurities be asking for it, but it's still a good podcast. They have like a little, you know, it's their family and whatnot. You know, they take care of each other, they rag on each other, but you know, they look out for one another. But Charlemagne for sure. One of my favorite quotes by Charlemagne that he says all the time is, "Who cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining?" And I mean, how often do we see that shit with all the publicity, the Jonathan Majors situation, Michael, the list goes on for a lot of people that felt some type of way about these individuals after it was painted in the media. And that's what the media is good for. They're good for painting you out to be big, or they can paint you out to be the worst. But yeah, Charlemagne the God is an individual I like to listen to. Malcolm X, very forceful when he speaks. Get a chance to hear some of his speeches from a long time ago. Just the poise that he had from being such a troublesome youth into becoming the man that he was before he was assassinated. Another individual that I love to listen to is James Baldwin. Nikki Giovanni, I believe was her name. They had this conversation that is so enlightening, and especially for Black couples. Because she was talking about, why don't you lie to me the way you go to work and lie to the white man, you smile in his face and all that stuff. I have to come home and get hell from you because of, you know, you want to portray all of that shit for them. Lie to me. Why not lie to me? Why not lie to the woman you love, as far as like being, like coming home with a smile and shit like that. And it was impactful. You know, it was during COVID when I was watching these things. And I just found it to be very insightful. Oh, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is another person because he brings Disney into real life as far as like the concepts. Like his concept on Peter Pan and us as men, how a lot of men are like Peter Pan and they don't want to grow up. You know what I mean? Like they refuse to grow up. It really shifted my mindset as far as like where I felt like I was at the time, and wanting to work on being better at being a man. You know what I mean? And so I thank him for that. Jordan Peterson has, you know, I would definitely recommend that one. The Peter Pan one, and also Pinocchio. He also used a scenario analogy with Pinocchio for one of his lectures, which was actually pretty dope. Jocko Willink is another person I love to listen to. Very motivating, you know, straightforward, you know, military cat, you know, with morals and all that stuff. So I like listening to what he has to say as far as like determination and having focus. Dave Chappelle is one of my favorite people I love to listen to, because you never know how he's such a genius at what he does as far as comedy goes, but then you throw in the life stuff. Like the past few years, Dave has been more like a life coach than a comedian to me. And Dave but he has it though. You know, like a lot of things he says is funny, but it makes sense to me. And I get it. Like whether it's jokes on transgenders, whether it's jokes on us as Black people, whether it's Black and Asian relations, because you know he's married to an Asian woman, and then just of course the typical Black and white, you know, comparisons that he'll go through in his in his talks, you know, stand-up specials too. And I say Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock for sure. Chris Rock is probably my favorite comedian as an adult. Growing up, my favorite comedian was Martin Lawrence as far as stand-up goes. Eddie was my favorite comedian in movies, but Martin was my favorite stand-up, you know, because he would go at the crowd and all that stuff. So, I mean, and then he would kick game too. You know, like a lot of his interviews. Like if you listen to early Martin interviews, like when he was on Arsenio, he was talking that talk. But I believe something happened to where Martin kind of, he's like, fuck it, I ain't doing this shit, or he just got scared away from it. With one of the two. But Chris Rock, back to Chris Rock. Chris Rock is another person that I love to listen to. It's like reading a newspaper, watching his stand-ups. Like if you go through his stand-ups from the beginning, he always said something in a funny way, but it would make you think. So Chris Rock is another person. And of course, right after Chris Rock, Will Smith. no pun intended with the slap, but like Will is definitely someone that I love to listen to and see insight on various things in life that come up. I mean, he's, you know, people give him shit. I mean, he's done a million things for people, and people remember the one thing that you know, that doesn't show him in a good light, and now you paint that as him. I refuse to do that. I don't know that man enough to say you know, anything about it. I know him for entertainment. He's entertaining, and when he talks in interviews, I listen because he will share some gems, and I love that. I love that. I love hearing the gems that comes out of his mouth, you know, when he shares things about life, especially wanting to quit and basically having that, you know, the what is it, the treadmill mindset that he has, where it's like, I'm going to beat you or I'm going to die on this treadmill. Is his idea. And in life is about building one brick at a time. That's what his dad taught him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we got to build all these things. So if you build one brick at a time, finely sliced and all that stuff, eventually you will have a wall. And that's how you take life. You just do one day at a time as fine as you can. Give your best to that brick, and then eventually you will have a wall. And so that always stuck with me. So I really do, you know, appreciate Will for that. Les Brown. I mean, I can't say that enough. Les Brown, about the things. I mean, I hear his voice throughout the day, every day. You know, if you can look up, you can get up. If you judge me now, you judge me prematurely. You know, just a whole bunch of things. Don't judge a person early on in their chapters. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not allowed to grow, essentially what he said. You got to be hungry. And as far as going after what you want, even though you have a vision and no one else can see it. And so it's like one of those things, you got to believe in yourself. And I'm grateful for that push every day. These, you know, positive voices and motivations. Another person I love to listen to talk is my best friend, T-Dot. You know, like I wish that the world knew, and the world will know, like how impactful she is when she speaks. Like, she does not speak of that of this world. She speaks of that of the spiritual realm. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to call her my sister, call her, you know, one of my best friends in this life. And yeah, you know, again, going back, I recommend everybody, any podcast that she's ever been on with me, I recommend that, because you are seeing two kindred spirits talk together, and it's endless, you know, as far as like how the subjects that we touch on, and the emotion, the passion, like I said, the spirituality of it all that comes out in those conversations for healing. And just grateful, you know, great, like I said, so grateful that I was able to have this young lady in my life. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning to now, from us riding bikes in the neighborhood growing up with her little brother and sister, to us now as grown people trying to repair a lot of the trauma and pain that we felt that we went through due to our childhood and upbringing and all that stuff. But yeah, those are like I would say those are the people that I love to listen to talk. They definitely have helped shape me into the man that I am, with the mentality that I have currently. Check out all those names. I would say rewind to try to find all those folks through YouTube or your podcasting and whatnot. But yeah, they all have had a means of being impactful in my life.
Hey, what up, everybody? Yeah, do me a favor real quick. Just hit like, subscribe, and of course, comment if you have anything, obviously.
You listen to more music or podcasts these days? I find myself listening to podcasts, to be honest. I mean, when I do listen to music, it's instrumentals. I've definitely become one of those guys that are like into jazz, like instrumentals and stuff like that. It gets me through the day. It's just you know what I'm saying, versus the lyrics. I have to concentrate. When I'm working and stuff like that, I can listen to instrumentals all day, classical, opera, or just movie scores, what have you, and then just jazz records from like the 60s, 70s, even Glenn Miller, back in the G. But I would say that I listen to more podcasts though, and commonly with the podcast, my podcasts, most of them are motivational stuff, like self-help type shit. So outside of Brilliant Idiots, I think Brilliant Idiots is probably the one that I listen to. It's not of self-help. Don't get me wrong, they'll say some stuff that's like, it'll have you thinking and all that shit. But for the most part, I listen to, I listen to self-help stuff. So Jocko Willink, affirmations through YouTube. I'll listen to Richard Cooper with the Unplugged Alpha. I'll listen to Rollo Tomasi for The Rational Male. I'll listen to Les Brown. I got this podcast thing. It's just motivational speeches from various people. And Jim Rohn. I didn't even mention him on the last one. That's crazy for as far as who I love to talk to. So late entry, my top three is Jim Rohn. Man, Jim Rohn is everything to me. It's funny because T-Dot was the one that put me on to Jim Rohn. Like, one of those people that has definitely had an impact on me. He's no longer with us on this planet, but his work is definitely something to look up. But I listen to more podcasts than music. I still have a love for music, don't get me wrong. It's nothing for me to pick up a keyboard and be able to make shit to make my own music still. But I find myself with what I'm working on listening to more podcasts because they tend to help shift my mind. Whenever my mind decides that it gets out of whack and that, I'm just off track, I can listen to whoever, like Jordan Peterson, Jocko Willink, Les Brown, all these folks, and they can, I can relate to it. It helps keep me on the straight and narrow. I don't find myself doing small talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like getting into, who you thought was better type shit. I think of something, how does it benefit me? I tend to do that more often than not. I just don't see the point in getting in a senseless debate about two players, like two athletes or something like that. Like, I was watching Gilbert Arenas and Brandon Jennings argue about Bronny James or whatever, and I'm like, what are we trying to prove? Either he's going to be good or he's not. Period. That's it. Why are we fighting to be right about an opinion? You know what I'm saying? It's literally have an opinion. I believe he's going to be better, or I believe he's not going to be good. Okay, we'll find out when he plays. You know what I'm saying? But I listen to more podcasts. J.E.T.Sense has a great podcast. I'm sure Renee has one, but there's only so much because J.E.T.Sense's his podcast, sometimes they're 30 minutes, sometimes they're an hour, depends on who's on there. And it's like, I'm trying to cram all this stuff, but everybody has a podcast these days. But it's all about what you're into. And a lot of people are into escaping life, so they tend to listen to shit that is meaningless. As for me, I like to listen to self-help, which somebody might consider meaningless as well. It's just all perspective based, right? But I find that it helps me to become a better human, a better speaker, a better overall person is what I try to do, and keep things in perspective, to not look at things from judgment, but at the same time be observing of what I allow myself to get into. So I still listen to music. Like if I come along and hit this jamming to me, I'll bump that for a little bit. But for the most part, when it comes to music, I listen to the shit I grew up with, the stuff that I listened to probably when I was in the military and before that. But I don't keep up with hip hop and R&B the way that I used to, because I feel like it went more to sex and more, like hip hop to me has gotten softer, if you will. I wish guys like Benny the Butcher were more prominent in hip hop. Instead, we have like the more pop rap type guys that have, controlled the mainstream. But that's just my opinion on that. I mean, everybody's got to make their money some way. But do I listen to music more? Or do I listen to podcasts? I find myself listening to podcasts a hell of a lot more.
So, snacks I used to trade with in middle school. Dunkaroos. Dunkaroos is what we used to do. Lunchables. Fruit by the foot. Fruit roll up. Apple pies. Hormel apple pies. That was middle school though. Honey buns. Definitely used to trade for honey buns. I can't stand them shits now. But back in the day, it was all about the honey buns. But I say, the Dunkaroos. What else was going on out at the time? The Ninja Turtle fruit snacks. They were kind of phasing out around like 94, because that was 9 years old. So 4th grade or something like that. But so Ninja Turtle fruit snacks. What else was popular? Power Ranger fruit snacks, I'm sure. Yeah, Captain Crunch peanut butter joints. Say what you want to say, but you can fuck them up. They fuck your gums up, the top of your gums, the peanut butter crunches. But we used to trade for, like somebody had like a bag of that, somebody mama put that in there. The chews, those are snacks like from the Candy Lady. And like it's just got it says whatever the fruit is wrapped up, on the label or whatever. It'd be like a blueberry chew, strawberry chew, grape chew, lime. But like I would say for the most part, probably Dunkaroos is probably like the one. Like if you had Dunkaroos, you was like the shit in our school. Green Holly Elementary in Lexington Park, Maryland. Navy brats, the Navy life. But so Dunkaroos, Lunchables, what the hell else I say? Dunkaroos, Lunchables, Ninja Turtle fruit snacks, peanut butter crunch. Hell, sometimes somebody have like a dope ass sandwich, like a traded lunch, like your mama make like, maybe that bologna and cheese or ham and cheese. Like my mom used to have like this panini press, and she would do a turkey and cheese sandwich for me. So I would eat that. That would be my, I eat that like every damn day, I think. But we made it work, humble beginnings and all that stuff. But those are the snacks that I used to trade for during my elementary days.
are the powers of a woman. Powers of a woman. I'm gonna turn the hat back for this bitch. The powers of a woman. Healing. The ability for a woman to heal. When a child is screaming, crying, or something like that, she can bring calmness to that individual. The "hey baby, it'll be okay" carries a man further than that woman can understand. Because for men that are on their purpose and out there trying to get, to success and stuff like that, to provide for the family and all of that, like, there's nothing more impactful, more powering than for a woman to transfer her energy of calmness to be like, "Hey baby, it'll be okay." You know what I'm saying? Like that of a mother, like what the powers that a mother has for her children. Like if a mother believes in her children, there's nothing that child feels like they can do. And it's same for daddy too. You know what I'm saying? Especially like with little girls, like with fathers and their daughters. Like if they can allow their daughter to believe that they can be anything they want, that power is just there, and it's just as equal, I would say, to that of a mother for either son or daughter. But that to me is like one of the powers of a woman. The power of a woman, sexuality, man. Like when you really, really tap into that, it is so mesmerizing what a woman can do, can be. I'm sure we've seen, we've been in malls, like if you've been in Miami, if you walked around and you see the level of beauty that comes out of a woman, it is in you too. Even, some women that have just gotten to an age where they feel like, yeah, I'm not worried about that shit no more. That power's still within you whenever you wish to unlock it. But like that power of a woman, man, the ability to figure shit out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that when a woman, she can handle it. She's got it. She can figure it out on her own. But again, she's trusting a man, allowing a man to lead. You know what I'm saying? To lead her. You know what I mean? So she can focus on other shit. And I mean, it's a teamwork thing. It's a yin and a yang type thing. And I want to say that to me is like one of the powers of a woman is that of her sexuality. The fact that a woman can keep it together for the most part. An effective woman, a high value woman. She keeps her shit together. She does not tear men down. She uplifts, if anything. Like that's what to me a high value woman. And one of the powers of a woman is her ability to uplift everything around her, like the glow that you just feel being around her. But of course, when you go through damage, when you've been through trauma and shit like that, it can override that power at times because you're more focused on the pain. But when I tell you that when a woman is on her shit and she is using her power for greater good, the kindness that comes out, man, like that's to me it's one of the sexiest things to ever see. Despite all the bullshit that you go through in life, for people perceiving you for weak, and then you still go out into the world and use your power for good. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that is one of the dopest things to ever see, because we all go through trauma. We all have our problems. We all have our pain. But some of us still say, fuck it, I'm gonna do this shit anyway. And that's what I truly love about the powers of a woman. When a woman recognizes that stuff, when she's able to look within herself, heal, have the courage to apologize too. That right there, that's a fucking power. Like a woman that has the ability to apologize and be accountable for her actions. When a lot of these women out here, today are doing fucked up shit and then finding a way to turn it around on whoever that individual is. Like that power of accountability, the power of, again, your beauty, the power of just being you, woman, the nurturer. Like nurturing, that is a superpower to me, for that of a woman who knows that she has it, who knows how to use it, and to again uplift the power to make shit out of nothing. You know what I mean? The ones that where you don't have a lot, but you turn that birthday party into some big extravaganza with little to nothing. I'm not talking about the, you know, the big extraordinary big ass parties when you got slides and shit like that, but when you have next to nothing, but that kid thinks that he's at Disney World or she's at Disney World, that type of shit, the creativity that comes from that of a woman ethic, you know what I mean, effort, excuse me, work ethic and effort, and women, when they display that, when they put in that work, you know what I'm saying? Like the power, again, the powers of a woman, I can get caught up. You know, I think about some of the women that I've been fortunate enough to grow up around and see them do things, like make ways out of no way. I've seen them be down. I've seen them beat down. I've seen them torn down and still come out and find a way to uplift others. So like for me, that is to me, it's one of the dopest things to see. Yeah, honestly, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I've been able to be around said women, be it my mother, be it my aunt, my grandmother, the matriarch of this family that we are in, the teachers for that matter. Like a lot of teachers helped shifted my mindset, and again, it was that femininity that they used to allow me to feel safe. The many tutors at Grove Baptist, when we used to have tutoring after school for math, because I damn sure was not good at math, but all of the leaders that were in Grove Baptist Church using their femininity the way that they did to help guide us young men who didn't know any better, you know what I mean? And to help shift us to a different level of leadership for some of us, you know what I'm saying? For some that did decide that it's time for us to lead. You know, you're a man, you are to lead. That is one of your jobs, is to lead. You know what I'm saying? Lead your flock, lead your tribe. Like I said, teachers, women, female supervisors in the military, women that I've worked with, you know, women that I've dated, you know, and just watching them be mothers to their kids and stuff like that, or just being by themselves. But like, there's so much power that comes into that, to know that that child relies upon you, and they don't see, and they think you got it all figured out, even though, you know, under the water, them legs is kicking, you know, it's like a duck on the water, you know, you look kind of smooth and shit, but them legs is kicking. You trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna do this shit, but somehow or another, the universe makes sure that you straight, your family straight. So, but that power, man, that power of just sticking with it, staying with it. I definitely commend all those women that display those traits. So for me, those are the powers of women. So I'm saying your beauty, your nurturing, all the other shit that I said, because I'm not going back. But yeah, I think you get the point. All of those things to me encompasses the powers of a woman. What do you think makes a meaningful life? A meaningful life to me is that one of just going after whatever it is that you set out to do. So like setting goals, and being grateful, gratitude. A life of gratitude to me is a meaningful life. So whatever comes up, whatever happens, you just take it for what it is. And you're just so, yeah, like I said, you're just so grateful for all the things that come with said life. You don't have expectations. You don't feel entitled to anything, and you do your best to control your ego. And like for me, that's a meaningful life, is to take life each day the way that it is. At the same time, setting goals for yourself, not expectations of others now, but goals for yourself that you want to do, be it you want to make more money, be it you want to have a bigger home, be it that you want to write poetry, you want to start writing music, you want whatever that is. To me, that's the meaningful life, is going after all the things in which you set out to do. I can honestly say that it took me some time to get on that path, but to find something that is greater than you, And that's what I would say, like with this platform, makes it a meaningful life, because when I'm gone, from here, these are lessons that my child, my godchildren, anybody, can use going forth. You know what I'm saying? If they've ever felt lost in something, they can always retort back to this. Not only that, they can hear my voice. And you don't realize how powerful it is to hear a person's voice until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, what it would be to listen to my Uncle Kevin laugh again. You know what I'm saying? God rest his soul. And, to see my Uncle Nook smile one more time. Like all these things. My aunt, listen to my aunt Yvonne laugh, smile, be pissed off, all of that shit, like at family functions. But the voice, like a person's voice is so, it's the little things, like being able to hear that person's voice again. So a meaningful life to me is just going after your goals. I would recommend all of us, like to figure out exactly what that means. I think a meaningful life is something different for every person, for each and every person, because we all have different goals. We all have different things that we want to set out to do. And but just practicing gratitude makes it a meaningful life. Like being grateful every day for the stuff that you have. Like they say it, the experts of it, the term, say that you're not, like Tony Robbins mentions it. That's another person I like to listen to, by the way. I'm just pass them out through all this to say that you're not able to be you're not able to be angry and grateful at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like figuring out, whenever you feel that way, why am I focusing on the negative when I could focus on the things that I do have? And one of those things is, just life itself, air to breathe. Still here when you could have been gone. There's so many of us that could have lost their loved ones, and miracles happen. You know what I'm saying? So they say. Let the doctor tell it, right? But you also have the ability to just be grateful for another opportunity at life, just talking to one another. So, to me, that's what a meaningful life is. I am definitely grateful for all the moments that I've had up until this point, the ones that I wanted to happen, the ones that I didn't want to happen, but very grateful for the life that I live. There are days where they're more challenging than others, I'm gonna get this word out. There are days that are more challenging than others, but it's life. It all comes with it. Like taking life as it is, just taking life as it is, and things tend to, without you having expectations, things tend to just flow. So, that's how I look at things, and I continue to carry on in life that way, to look at life as that, just taking life for what it is, not for taking life for what it is, not what I want it to be. All right, I focus on what's in my control. Because we oftentimes, because of our childhood trauma, try to focus on shit out of our control. We try to control our surroundings, but we don't have any control on our surroundings. We don't have control of what people think of us. So no amount of what you do is going to change what that person thinks about you, because it's their own thought, of you. If you met 50 people have a different view of how they see you. Some might be similar, but they all have their different views, and you decide who you're going to be. To me, that makes a meaningful life. So it's just like practicing gratitude, focusing on goals, knocking out goals, and then sharing those moments with those that you value, pretty much.